What if you could have the life of your dreams? The money, the relationship, the idyllic location, whatever you want, and I mean whatever you want, no matter how weird or unrealistic or outlandish it may seem. The only catch is no one would know you've done it. Let me put it this way. What if you could become taller purely through the perception of others, but every time you look in the mirror, you're the same height you always were? What if you could become rich truly with all the benefits that brings, but you don't actually have any more money than you did when you started? I know that doesn't seem to make much sense. The point I'm trying to make is, in order to get what you want, you have to let go of the reality you think you're living. Like I said in the previous video about how we're addicted to this reality that seems so real, because that's the whole point of it. We have to realize that the rules we live by are entirely made up. All the laws we live by, even morality, which I know is really hard for people to take. But all this stuff we made up, it's man-made. It's like, what's it like? It's like people worshipping a superhero, you know, like a literal made up, written in a comic book superhero. Let's take Superman, for example. Like, you know, Superman isn't real. We'll make that clear. That's what the example that's being given here. Superman is not real. It's a fictional character. But what if people started worshipping Superman as if he were real? That's what we've done. That's the world we're living in right now. We worship money. We worship fame. We worship the 9-to-5 grind. We worship our car. We worship status. We worship our place in society. We worship our house. We worship where we live. And it's you know, it's funny, just a little side note. In my life, I've known a lot of atheists, and specifically bitter atheists. And I find it so funny that, you know, they can't see the gods that they create for themselves. And no one can. It's not just atheists. No one can see it. No one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. How do you explain it? Would you take the red pill? So let's say the Matrix exists as it does in the film, right? It's not how it is. It's not like the film portrays the Matrix as very sinister. But if we want to call this illusion that we live in the Matrix, it's not sinister. We made it up. It's our creation. So it's only as sinister as we make it. This is a positive story. This is a story that only ends in us winning. But we've already won. That's the whole point of the game. The point of this game that we have chosen to play is to figure out that we've already won. It's not to win or lose. But if the Matrix were real the way it is portrayed in the film, and Morpheus came to you and said, take this red pill and you will become the most powerful human on the planet. Like, let's say you're the one. All right, take the red pill and you will be it. You'll have ultimate power, but you have to leave this world behind. Would you take it? I'll answer that question for you. Most of us would not, even if we think we would. Because every day that you reinforce the old story, that you tell yourself you're not good enough, or that you don't believe you could ever be wealthy or find love, or whatever you want, that you don't deserve, or you're not capable of getting what you want, every time you tell yourself that story, you're taking the blue pill. So you have to take that leap of faith, but don't worry, we'll get to this in a second, but let me just make this point first, that you have to take that leap of faith. You have to let go of the old life, of the old self, of the old story. I'm going to give you an example from my life, a recurring struggle for me of self-sabotage. Okay, so I've got this pattern, God knows why, where whenever I start to develop some success, a little voice in the back of my mind goes, "Oh, buddy, you don't deserve that." Even if it's what I want more than anything, the little voice goes, the ego, right? Goes, that's not right. That's not the story. That's not who we are. I decide who we are, not that voice. And we all have that voice. Even if it's not a specific voice that is separate from us, we might think that it is us, that it's our conscience, that it's our voice of reason, right? And we listen to it instead of following our heart. As cheesy as that sounds, that's all we have to do, man. So what if you could have literally anything and everything you could ever want, but you had to give up your current reality? Would you take it? Once you have decided to take that leap, I can promise you something wholeheartedly, that you will not lose anything. I've experienced this myself. The moment you let go, the moment you give up the old story, you don't lose the old life. You don't lose the people you care about. You don't lose the things you care about. You don't become such a radically different person that you don't recognize yourself nor like yourself. That's not how it works. The best example I can give you is in my experience digging myself out of depression. So for me personally, I found that my depression was coming from a view of myself that I needed to be a good person, a good man specifically. And I was holding myself back in an attempt to prove to the world that I was a good man. I didn't deserve this pressure I put on myself. I didn't do anything wrong, but I just felt that it was my duty, weight of the world on my shoulders, to prove to the world. And the moment I let go of that and said, fuck it, I'm going to be whoever the fuck I want. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to be an asshole if that's what it takes. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Right? The most remarkable thing happened. I didn't change at all. I didn't become an asshole. I was still the honorable, good person that I was before. I still had integrity. What I had done was let go of the old story, which was tied up in the shackles of, yeah, you're a good person, but no one cares. You're a good person, and as a result, people walk all over you. I let go of the old story and I took the shackles off and allowed myself to be free, to pursue a different story and have a different life, but I didn't change. So when you give up the old story, you give up the old life, when you wake up from the matrix into the real world isn't a hellhole like it's portrayed in the film, The Matrix. The real world is whatever you decide it is, right? And you don't lose the old life, but you have to be willing to lose it. That's all. But you have to have conviction. You can't be like, all right, I'm willing to give everything up, but I'm just saying it because I know that's what it takes. No, you have to give it up. All I'm telling you is that I promise you that you will still have the life that you want on the other side. You don't lose people. You don't lose things. You don't lose yourself. You find yourself. The whole point is to give up control, and in doing so, you gain the greatest control. You let yourself go, let yourself float down the stream with the knowledge, the conviction that the stream will take you to where you want to go. As always, take what resonates and discard the rest.